Once upon a time, before I ran away, I was the youngest of 4 happy kids growing up on Nepean Sea Road, the Park Avenue of Mumbai. We lived in a sprawling 5,000 square foot apartment in a beautiful limestone building, smack in the middle of bustling shops, big shady trees, and of course, riotous traffic of every shape and size. We were not the richest of the rich, but we were rich enough to live very, very well in India. Servants, drivers, cooks, nice cars, and air conditioning, the ultimate status symbol. My friends were the children of business moguls and movie stars. But unlike my friends' dads, my dad had not been installed as some princely heir to the family business. My father had clawed his way out of the Mumbai chawls, put himself through law school, and started an innovative and lucrative import-export business that took him all over the world. He brought back wild tales and rare objects d'art from exotic locales like Tokyo, Milan, and New Jersey. We, the subjects of my father's lush new kingdom, were expected to obey his unquestionable worldly authority. In practical terms, this usually just meant staying out of his way. That came naturally. While he never laid a finger on us, my dad's domineering aura was repellent for servants and children. If he was in the room, no one said anything, because we never knew what might trigger him. Since he always sat in the massive living room, that meant all 4 of us kids were heaped into one of our tiny bedrooms, giggling and talking about movies and food and music. The servants even fed us our dinners in the bedrooms because they themselves were trying to keep out of his way. My dad was the only member of his family who had finished high school. Afterward, he had found law professors and begged to attend their lectures. He even offered to clean their homes if he could sleep there at night. And yet, it wasn't my father's law degree that opened the door to his stunning success. It was something he had that his classmates didn't: grit. All these people with big degrees will sign away their whole life of freedom for an ounce of security, my dad would say. But taking risks? Now that is where real money is made. My dad eventually concluded with disgust that too much education actually ruined people. It made them too proud and too scared to do real work. Everyone should be a work alcoholic, he would say, years before the term workaholic became commonplace. So my dad only educated us to the extent that it would help us thrive in the universe he inhabited. From an early age, we learned the language of success, English. And we were to be married off to the heirs of other successful entrepreneurs, ideally before we hit 20 years old. But even though it was actively discouraged, especially for a girl, I loved to read. And I couldn't understand why my dad couldn't understand, because I thought everything you could read was riveting. Every bit of pocket money I had, I spent on novels, film magazines, comic books, Fortune, Forbes, Inc., Adweek, How the Rich Live, How the Frazzled Simplify Their Lives, How the Film Stars Fight. I would even read cookbooks to see what types of dishes were in season, anything I could get my hands on. I especially adored reading The Times of India first thing in the morning, and I still do to this day. But my dad hated that I would touch it and shuffle the pages around. He wanted the copy to be fresh and crisp when he was ready to read it. The only way I could get a hold of it was if I woke up early, waited in bed until I could hear the newspaper plopped outside our apartment door around 5 a.m., and rushed to read it all as fast as I could. Then I would put the newspaper under the sofa cushions and bounce on it with my bum so it was neatly pressed back into position. When my dad finally emerged from his room at 6 a.m., the newspaper would be lying outside the apartment front door, perfectly flat.